Welcome back, guys, to another broken game console. I don't know what else to even say other than it's broken and ruined. Roll the intro. So this particular Game Gear I got in a lot of broken Game Gears. I believe it was a lot of 5 or 6 of them. I don't even remember at this point. This one though was in the best shape of all of them. Let me just be blunt about it. It was in the best shape of all of the Game Gears that came with this lot. And when I say the best shape, let me explain. Battery acid had leaked out onto this board and had destroyed everything in this area. And when I say destroyed, let me throw the macro lens on and pull the camera down and show you guys. And I'm not done yet, but show you guys what I had to do to even get this thing to begin to start working. So as you guys can see on this board, I've had to pull component legs all the way across to capacitors. I've had to rebuild the center of the board up. I had to pull this particular capacitor all the way over. All of this was just absolutely destroyed across through here. This particular capacitor up here, I had to pull the leg down and tie him in. This board was in horrible shape. And I want to stress that while it was in horrible shape, of all of the boards that came in this lot, this one was the best. This was also a VA1 9024 board, which makes it a prime candidate for a McWill screen. So, let me show you where I'm at. And when I say destroyed, this EM filter was missing off of it completely, was gone. This whole connector I've had to go in and resolder because the whole connector was ripped off. I don't know what monkey had this thing and attempted to do board repair on it. Attempted. And I'm going to stress the word attempted there because what he did was so atrociously bad. I'm sorry, I'm digging over here trying to find my pile of other ones. That's a V0. I'm not going to mess with him. I wish if I could find it, I'd show it to you right now. But some of the stuff that he did, just pulled. Here we go. Found it. This was a bag that came with this lot, labeled spares. So what was labeled on the board? Spare. Okay. Absolutely ripped the components. I don't even know that you call that desoldering. Look at the connector. Just shredded the connector on the guy, on this thing. Just, and that's one example. Here's another one. Just, ripped every single thing off of the board, chips and all. That's not even, and destroyed the traces. That's not even, look at the bottom of it. Just burnt with a torch. This is not even rebuildable. That's not a spare. That's just trash. The power boards fared no better. This one, again, capacitors, and this one might be repairable, maybe, until you get to the bottom side of it, and you see them melted. See where they melted? He melted the jack on it, and the capacitors he put in or tried to take out. I don't know if you guys can get a good view of that on screen. But in this particular area where it just, senselessness is the only way to describe it. Here's another audio board. This was one of the better audio boards out of the bunch, and this might be repairable except for all the traces he ripped off taking off these electrolytic capacitors. Just ruined. Again, here's another one. The 850 UF 850, yeah, 800 UF capacitor right here, just ripped out of the board, just ripped out of it. Traces on the bottom of it, ruined, destroyed. This is a bag of spare parts, okay? Just spare parts, yeah, spare parts. You know, I paid a more than fair amount of money for this. When I say I paid a fair amount of money, I don't remember the exact price that I paid for it, for the lot of them. But here's what aggravated me the most about the whole thing. Was not only were they destroyed, and the guy, I mean, you know, he was partially, he at least listed it for parts not working, but he showed the consoles in the picture assembled, right? And he didn't show the bag of spare parts. He didn't show any of that. Just showed, you know, the bag of parts. So as I've been through this guy, and I've got the screen removed for a reason. As I went through this guy, I fought with this one enough and resoldered it enough to get it to work. And I don't know if you guys, maybe he'll click on in a minute. Sometimes the light's on. Yeah, the audio connection on the speaker is about ripped off and loose. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But I can wiggle this back and forth and make the audio go out on it. At any rate, you know, so the reason that I've got the screen pulled off of this one is after I replaced all the capacitors on this board, that was the very first thing I did because the capacitor job that he did was atrocious. After I went to another one of the spare boards and I pulled an EM cap off of it and replaced it, and after I cleaned up all the battery acid that was all over the board and straightened everything out and got everything mostly fixed up, I could get it. First off, it wouldn't power on. Then I finally got it to power on. But when it would power on, it would do weird things. You know, it would not play audio, or it would, you know, and it's never played video. It was just a black screen. And so I tried everything in the world that I could think of. I replaced transistors on the board, thinking, well, maybe there's a bad transistor. Just like I said, I did everything that if somebody were to ask me, hey, I've got this Game Gear that doesn't work and it displays black screen, I did everything that I would give somebody advice on, you know, what they should do, and could make no difference, no change. Finally, after messing around with it for a while and working on it and trying everything, once I replaced most of the transistors on the board, which I had to go and track down and pull the schematics to go and buy, because the transistors just don't go bad on the board. It's just, you know, they just don't tear up. So, you know, why would anybody have a listing of them? Like I said, I had to go. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I had to go pull the whole schematic on the whole board and track down every single transistor and check them all. I had to go through this board line by line. When I say line by line, I literally mean circuit by circuit, checking every single component on it in order to make enough progress to get it where we're at now. So where are we now? And why is the screen off? The screen is off because I had another working screen. And so I thought, well, if I can get the screen off and I can put another screen on, perhaps I can get some video out of it. So I did. I swapped him out, and I managed to start getting more video out of it. More video, not all the videos. I haven't gotten color out of it yet, but I didn't dump a lot of time or effort into it. I'm going to be honest, I really didn't. Once it was apparent, after I soldered the screen onto the connectors, then becomes the fight of making sure everything's perfect. And this is a very hard connector to solder to anyway. I mean, it can be done, and I've done them before, and it just takes a lot of time and patience and the whole 9 yards. And I wasn't going to invest a lot of that into this because I had another idea. And my other idea was, now that I know that it reliably will turn on and off, let me just McWill screen it and be done, right? Why would I not do that? That's a pretty simple, quick solution that will get me the video output that I want, that will solve the problems, and I can just move on. And so that's where I'm at now. That's what I've decided to do. That's what we're going to do, is we're going to McWill this guy, and get a fresh new screen on him, and then dig through the case over there and find an appropriate case, as close to an appropriate case as we can get. That's where we're at. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to move through this one kind of quick. The first thing that I'm going to repair is the speaker, where the wires have started to come loose on him a little bit. We're going to fix him up so that stops being a problem for us. That's a quick and easy little fix. Sometimes, and I want to stress the word sometimes, bad audio can just be attributed to a loose speaker connection. I am going to say, as there was literally only one wire holding this guy together, that that is a strong possibility in this case, though it is not 100%. It is a strong possibility, not 100%. But no problem. No problem. Is it Bob Ross says, there's no accidents, there's just happy mistakes. This is what Bob Ross would say, and we're going to go with it. We're just going to tune this guy up, put some new solder on it, reflow this joint. Because the possibility is very high that the only thing wrong with this guy, the only thing wrong with it, as far as on the audio front goes, is just some poor wire connections. Now, I will say this, the entire power board's been recapped. The entire power board's been recapped. The entire audio board's been recapped. And the entire main board has been recapped. Now, as you guys know, with the McWill, we're going to have to remove a bunch of this stuff, which is fine. That's all just part of it. But the first thing that I wanted to do, you go down there. First thing that I wanted to do is go ahead and remove this CFL tube and all of its associated nonsensory. Now the CFL on this guy still works. Works quite well, actually. The fuses still work. The transformer still works. And let me give you guys a little. This is a pro tip for any of you guys that might be considering a repair on a Game Gear. When this thing has power, stay away from that transformer. It will light you up. Stay away from the transformer. Stay away from the CFL tube. You want to talk about a healthy shock. It is beyond painful, the shock that you will get from one of these boards. Absolutely beyond painful. Never had a fuse so stubborn, and they're all stubborn. You know, if you're, ow, that was just hot. That was not electricity. That was just me putting my finger in the wrong place and burning myself. If you're going to go messing around with these boards, these Genesis boards, you just be extra careful around the CFL stuff. It will hurt you badly. I'm not going to say, I haven't done any tests on it. I don't know what the amperage is. I don't know what the voltage is on it. I don't know that it would kill you. I don't know that it'd stop your heart. I don't know that it won't. What I will tell you is, it is a very, very, very bad day. It is a day that will live in infamy forever. You know, you will regret instantly and for a long time putting your grubby mitts anywhere near this transformer or any of the CFL lighting circuit. Sorry, I'm just breezing through removing all the stuff on here I know has to come off anyway. So I do know that I have to go ahead and remove, you know what, I'm going to do this with an air gun because it'll just be quicker and make my life easier. I'm just breezing through, and I'm going to very briefly, quickly remove most of these. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit quicker of a thing than what I normally do with these, going into great detail on it. The main point of this is to take this console from a non-functional state to a functional state, and go through some troubleshooting tips. My air is literally down to 0. That ain't gonna work. hot air gun back down. I'm going to have to move some of this stuff. Give me just a quick second. Let me get arranged. Okay, now I'm ready and I'm arranged. I'm ready to rock and roll. We're going to remove R33, R34, and R32. We're going to do him with our soldering iron because it's easier to get to and it's less damage, likely damage to the board. But before we do that, let me heat him back up real quick. We're going to pull the Q6 transistor. We got to pull Q6, Q4, Q3. We can go ahead and pull most of these guys. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and pull them all. Pull all the transistors off the board real nice and quick. Q6, Q4, Q3. Thinking in my head. Okay. Now I went ahead and grabbed R33 while I was there. You want to be careful around your thumb wheel here. You want to be extra careful and not put any more heat in that area than you have to, okay? Then you absolutely have to, because you can overheat him in a rapid hurry. All right, we got to do R32 and R34. Yeah. R32, R34, R32. That's right. R34 is the closer one. Ah. Got it. Got it. Again, exercising extreme caution around your thumb wheel over here. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and re-tin all these pads. It's not a necessary step. It's not a requirement. It's nothing you have to do. I am only doing it because I just happen to be sitting here. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and tin up the backside of 38. Like that. Uh-oh, bridged it. Hate it when that happens. And we're going to tin up while we're here with our soldering iron. The bottom of C37, the back side of him, and C36, as soon as I can find it. Where is C36? There it is. Since we're here. Now, removing everything else we can do with our hot air gun. 56, 57, and 30. 30, remember to save. Sorry, I'm looking at my board upside down. Here's 56 and 57. And then 30. 30 should be down here past Q3. It's Q4. Where was Q3 at? I'm sorry, I've lost Q3. Q3 was here. 30 should be... This is really hard, upside down and sideways. I'll never find it that way. 30 should be... Any other time I could walk right to the stupid thing. Is it 30? Is 30 what I'm trying to get to? Do I have to remove... Yeah, I got to remove 41 anyway. Do him with a soldering iron. I'll tell you what, if I can't find 30, it should be, it's not 30 anyway, it's 38, because I'm stupid. Well, I tell you what, you know what, when you're good, and when you're not, man, what an idiot. It's R30, and he's up here, that's what I was looking for. Sorry, R38... right there. C30, on the other hand, R30, sorry, is up here in this corner, buried. Okay. And then, sorry, we got to get 44 and 43 off. And 41. 41's got to go. Can I get to 41 without... Well, that's a tight fit, but I think I can pull that off. Got it. Got it. Just like that, guys. Just like that. Okay, that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Should be 3 resistors and 18 components. Yep, okay. That should be everything. Shouldn't have anything else to put on anymore. So, very quickly, I just threw Q30 over Q4 real quick, or R24 real quick, not Q30. I put R30 over R24 real quick. Give me a second, let me take this phone call. Alright guys, sorry about that. I went to take a shower and then got hung up watching a Summon and Salt video. Sorry. I'll do that if you're not paying real close attention to me. But at any rate, sorry. Getting back on task here. First thing we're going to do is tin these pads right here and install all of these all these little components that we have to, that we got. Whoops. May have started a small, may have slightly burned my extraction fan. Whoops. So that happens when you're not paying attention, right? Just going to tin these real lightly, real quick. And I think on this one, again, we're going to go back to attempting, and I want to stress the word attempting, these 0 ohm resistors, which you don't have to do, guys. Remember, even on my own, I installed just pieces of component leg, which works absolutely fine. But what the kit actually specs is 0 ohm resistors. 0 ohm resistors are just bridged resistors. That's all they are, guys. There's just, when I say bridge resistors, there's nothing about them that's special in any way. They're just standard 0 ohm resistors. That's all they are. That's all they are. Let's get our temperature gun out, and let's put a little flux down. Uh-oh. I have lost a 0 ohm resistor. My tweezers jumped, and there is no telling where that little resistor went flying off to. But I can tell you where it's not. it's not in my tweezers. So it looks like we'll be bridging at least one of these, because the slim chance and I do mean the extremely slim chance that we get the rest of these right, then I've still got to worry about what I'm going to do about the other one that I've lost. And now there's a phrase for it, but I don't want to. This is not. I'm not striving to be a kid-friendly YouTube channel or anything, but I also try not to use too much highly professional language either. So I tell you what, now that I've got those guys on there, douse a little bit of flux. Make sure those guys flow exactly back where I want them. And we'll get our continuity tester out. I'm going to lightly look, very lightly look, for this 0 ohm resistor. The chances that I find it are extraordinarily slim to none. But I'm going to look for it. We'll give a quick cursory glance at my mat up here. and make sure he didn't just go flying somewhere in an obvious location. And not rapidly, immediately seeing him, we will resort to our standby of making a component leg to fit. And we'll do a quick test. Cool. All of that's good to go. Now, we need our 2 capacitors. And then it's a 200 ohm and a 300 ohm, I think. 200 ohm and a 3K. Who knows? Who remembers this stuff? I almost lost that one too. That's awesome. Come on, out you go. Now, be careful around this this big silver thing right here. Okay, that's your clock. And while I haven't personally ever damaged one, if you're working with a heat gun, it's entirely reasonable to assume that that is possible to do. I'm not worried about setting these things absolutely perfect just yet. This is our 200. Because this should be a 302. 301. Okay. Good enough. I'm not worried about setting these absolutely perfect. I'm going to apply some flux and flow them back in here in just a few minutes, or in a few seconds. For now, I am mostly just concerned with getting these components set properly in place. With as shaky of hands as I can possibly humanly manage. Now we're going to put a little flux down. Put a lot of flux down. And that right there ought to get it. Just to confirm, what I'm doing there, guys, is I'm going from pad to component and doing a continuity check to make sure that the component is properly attached. Okay? Once I know that it is, we're going to go on our way installing our wire. Back to this Kynar wire. I really don't like this Kynar wire that the kits come with. You know, I've made no bones about saying just how much I hate it. But in case anybody wasn't clear, I hate it. It's just not very good wire to begin with. It just really isn't. Now it's small. I will give them that. It is small. However, it is just not very good wire. So the first connection that I'm going to make, because I just happen to be here, is I'm going to make the connection between R20, what is that, 23? Yeah, R23 and T10. This is this tiny little jumper between R23 and test point 10 that you have to make. Before I go fooling with that, let me give him the old wiggle test. Yep, that seems pretty good. I'm pretty okay happy with that. This is going to be our from our clock FB1 over to our board. We're going to clip him just a little bit long, not super long. We're going to go from, our next one is going to go from the button, which is C38, is going to be button number 1. Okay. Probably a little long. We're going to clip him off right about there. And then do I have enough to get to 37? Back over, I do. Remember, C37 has to come from the side, the off of board side. Okay? And you want to make sure you come down and not up, because if you come down, or if you come up, you run into where the plastic casing sits. You don't want to do that. Okay, one more piece of wire and we'll come from 36. C36 again is one of these that comes from the bottom. Stripped him just a shade long. Just nip him off. Sorry for my head and my hat being in the way, guys. Apologies. We're going to bring him up here, clip him off. Give or take about there. We're going to go ahead and strip all of these. That is way too long to be stripped, but I guess we're there now, so send it. Send it. 37 is also too long, so we're going to click. Let me fold 38 down. 38 is going to be our deciding factor on 37. About in that neighborhood. And then we're going to take a wire from ground, positive and negative. Sorry, of course positive and negative. From VCC, ground, and backlight on our potentiometer here. We're going to start with backlight, or sorry, yeah. We're going to start with VCC because he's up the highest. VCC is at top. And he can be a little bit of a pain to drop in here. You can come around to the bottom of this. There's nothing at all wrong with that. Don't burn your wire, dum-dum. Okay. And then we're going to come for our backlight. Now remember, our backlight wire runs all the way across the board, so we won't be shortening him by much, if at all. Sorry, that capacitor was nothing but in my way, blocking me from doing a quality job. And since all we do around here are quality jobs, I can't allow that. We don't do non-quality, poor quality workmanship. We don't. That's not us. Might be some of the other guys. That's not what we do. Okay. A lot of this, guys, is just finding the way to get to it, right? That's what 90% of this is. And our last and final wire is going to be our ground. He's going to be the easiest one to connect. Tell you what, voltage is fine, but that wire was supposed to be ground. This wire was supposed to be brightness. It's too long though. Not happy with that. Guys, I know my head's in the way right now, and I do sincerely apologize for that. I really do. But I've got to be able to get in here and see exactly what's going on, and I couldn't see it. There we go. Okay. Our buttons, our rotary dial still works great. Okay, so we got to stick this 100 UF that we've melted, and I'm not happy with that. So this was 100 UF 25. Let me grab one of those real quick. The bend on this particular one is interesting. So what you want to do, positives up top. So what you want to do is spread them just a little bit, and then we're going to fold them straight down, and then right here at the base, okay, we're going to grab a hold of it with our tweezers in a straight line, and we're going to bend him back flat that way. So we almost made us a little Z, and then we're going to nip him off somewhere about like that. That ought to get us pretty stinking close. Nah. Yeah, that'll do it. Just a drop of flux in here, because this guy's a little tough to get to inside. Nailed it. So that's got all of these guys on the top side of the board, ready to rock and roll. All I got to do is strip out the clock, and we can round my board up. Where did I put him? I think he's down here. Everything's going to fall over when I go to take him out. Instructions, we won't be needing those, but I'm not going to leave them back there where they might catch fire. That's probably a mistake. Excess wire, don't need that. Screen, we'll need that later. McWill, definitely need this guy. Oh, and more capacitors. So all these extra parts right here, sorry, were actually from mine, because I didn't use them on mine because I had already done all the work previously on it, so I didn't need that. First thing we're going to do on this board is disconnect our LCD and put him aside somewhere safe. Somewhere, keep it secret, keep it safe. All right? And we're going to tin up our pads. Remember, we're going to have to tin these side pads and all of these. And remember, we have got to get a 100 ohm resistor, 75 or 100. I am impartial to the hundreds. We've got to get one of those and install him. That is 100 kilo ohm. That is not the right 100 ohm. that is not the right 100 ohm. That was 100 kilo ohms. That would have been a mistake. A 100 ohm resistor. I think that's one right there that just came flying out. Yep, that's us. Cool. If you guys don't have one of these books, by the way, one of these books, resistors, with all these SMD resistors, if you don't have one, get them. I've got books of capacitors and resistors. I use these things constantly, whether I'm just building some random thing, or I'm actually using it on a console. If you don't have one, if you don't use them, get one. Got it. And again, here's what I'll give you a little pro tip. I didn't get him on there straight, but I'm not super concerned about that. Anytime you're flowing a component onto a board, okay, anytime, doesn't matter how often you do it, it takes moments, literally just moments, to do a quick double check with your continuity and just make sure that you've got that nailed. It takes one moment to do it. It takes forever to realize you've screwed it up. Okay. Set him aside for now. Let's tin up some pads for our board to rest on. We're done with our hot air, so we can turn him off. Okay, board. I'm bored. Remember, guys, our lineup points on these are up top. Those are the ones we're concerned about getting to line up properly first. Everything else is kind of superfluous and doesn't matter as much. Okay? Ah. As will happen sometimes, these things don't always want to flow down and sit just the way you'd want them to in the absolute most perfect world. It happens. Just remember, don't panic. Apply a little flux. Got it. Got it. It's slightly off crooked. Slightly. I'm not sure which side, but it's slightly crooked. I'm not super concerned about it right now. Okay. First wire to be connected is going to be the backlight wire. Because he's going to come all the way over here. Tell you what, we're going to take him in between these two capacitors. And all the way up top. Clip him off. Just a wee bit long. Strip him and land him. Now, before we land him, we're going to go ahead and land our clock wire, because it will make life easier if we do go ahead and land him now. Right? And so try to always follow this general rule. Form a plan of attack. Think it through. Think it through. Have a good plan, and do your very best to stick to it. Don't be afraid to change the plan now. If the plan's not working, what you plan to do is not providing the result that you're expecting. Don't be afraid to change that plan up, okay? But get you a nice plan going. Follow the plan. Stick to it. And everything should be just fine. Okay, here we go. Okay. The last wire is going to be ground. This goes a lot easier, by the way. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but sometimes I'm just in the zone with this stuff, and sometimes I'm just not. Sometimes I can pretty much bang these guys out in a hurry, and sometimes I couldn't do it to save my life. Which was the case when I attempted to do my own McWill. Apparently, it was just one of those times where no matter what I did, it wasn't going to happen. Okay. That was 38. We're going to bring 37 over. And finally, we're going to bring 36 up. Land that guy, tuck him down nice and pretty. There we go. That ain't too bad, is it? Not too bad. For an old country boy from Tennessee. It's not too bad at all, is it? And that is going to pretty much wrap up. Come on. That whole side of the board. Minus that we'll come back and put a little Kapton tape. What I do want to do is a quick and dirty continuity check on a few things. I want to make sure should have continuity. No continuity. No continuity. No continuity. No continuity. Good. Good. Okay. This side of the board we can pretty much call wrapped up and finished. Cool. Quick and easy, just the way I like it. This side of the board we're going to have to re-tin a pad or two. It looks like maybe didn't do a full set for some reason. And we're going to start landing these guys. So great. Tell you one of the aggravating things. First off, one of the aggravating things is my board just came loose. I didn't solder it down good enough. Watch me just fix that. I'll just fix you right up. Said I would. I do substantially better work when I've got some tunes to listen to, some music to listen to. It makes everything just makes me flow a little bit better. But I can't do that while I'm recording a video for a couple of reasons. Most importantly, YouTube kind of frowns on music. For one. And for two, when I have to count for 35, I always have to count for 35. I don't know why. Copyright infringement and all of that. YouTube kind of is a little bit of a frowny pants on streaming music in the background while you're recording a video. Unless you've got the license to it, which I won't. I won't have the license to it because I haven't paid for the license to it. There's a service out there for streamers and YouTube creators and stuff like that that lets you play that music in the background. I may look into it at some point. We get some more subscribers. Get over 1,000 subscribers, we might start rocking some tunes while we're doing this. The next wire I'm going to hook up is ground. And then the next one that we're going to hook up is power, which is 35, pin 35. I'm 99% sure. Yeah, pin 35, 5 volts, and maybe that one will be long enough. Let me count real quick like. So we should be 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35. This guy right here. Is what we ought to be. Okay. Alright, that's got all those. Now comes all the fun ones. All the fun ones. I'm going to go ahead and cut several of these wires just in half. Strip them out both ends. And I'll tell you what I am going to do as well. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I was going to, but I'm not. What I'm going to have to do is do these probably the bottom side of them under a microscope to make life a little bit easier for me. To be a treat for you guys, I guess. You can watch my complete, utter lack of ability to count. Okay. So, where's my tweezers at? It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This guy right here. This guy right here. This is him. Tell you what I'm going to do. No, I'm changing my mind. Was gonna change my mind. I was gonna pull that via, clear that via, and land him that way, but I changed my mind at the last minute. We'll do it the good old-fashioned way. Once I clip this little tail off. Just like that. You don't know tough. You don't know difficult until you have tried to pull off one of these guys upside down in a microscope. Ow. Hot. Got it. 9. Let me find my other piece. Strip him out. And we'll go down from 9 to 16. That's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This guy right here. Let me get my flux. Put it on my pad. And only the pad that we are trying to solder to. No more. Botched it. There we go. Now we're going to go down 2 more and hit 18. So if that pin's 16, 17, 18. I'm going to be a little bit honest here. When I did my own, which you guys should have already seen that video by now, when I did my own, I'm a little bit not used to these not working the first time right out of the gate. It's a little bit foreign to me to have to fight with one of these. I was not used to that. It kind of threw me off my game a little bit. I'm used to having to fight with them a little bit to get them to work when they're damaged, but I'm not used to having to fight with them to keep them operational or to get them to do a McWill. That's kind of new to me. Okay, and if that's 18, the next one is going to be 20, so which is going to be 2 bays down from him. Okay. Now, if you guys are noticing, I'm not connecting the other side of my wires just yet. I will. I just haven't, I'm not quite ready to pull that off yet at all. You know what, I don't like how 16 came out. 16 seems to have shifted, or sorry, 18 seems to have shifted. So we're going to push him back down here where he belongs. There we go. And now I can put 20 on because I feel better about him now. I feel much better about him now. There we go. There's 20. Now we got to do 39 and 57. The last two. I don't know why, but 39 and 57 always give me a little bit of a hard time. I don't know if it's the weird count on them. I don't know what it is. It makes no difference to me. They always give me a little bit of a fight. Tell you what, while I'm here, go ahead and strip these guys right here out. Both of them. And let's find, that's 20. So let's start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That should be 39. And it usually is because it's right in front of this guy, this single post right here. So that's definitely 39. We're going to put just a dab of flux on him. There we go. Ow, hot. Didn't get enough flux on it. Let me reflux or resolder it. And now let me try to reflow it. Put our wire back on it. Okay. Yep, that's got a good bite. Now we just got to count down here to 57 and repeat said process one last time. And then, so that's 39. That's 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. This should be 57. Should be right there in the middle. Now, 57 is always a little bit of a challenge for me, just because of where it lands. It's kind of out there in the middle of nowhere all by itself. And so usually if there's one of these I miscount on, it's this one. But I'll tell you what I've learned to do is count backwards, because 68 is right here. So 68, 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57. Nailed it. Okay. Now, I can move this guy out of the way, turn him off, put him back up here, wherever he went. Good enough. And we can start routing these wires. I'll go ahead and strip the other end. Well, nope, mine's already stripped, so I don't have to worry about him. Is not stripped. No biggie. $18 is also not going to be stripped. No biggie. Now guys, this is what I always say, because we're getting close to wrapping this one up. And doing a test on it. There is no point in going nuts, okay, just yet. Alright? You want to test this console before you assemble this console, right? What that means is you want to actually go through the trouble of actually hooking up a game, running this console, okay? You don't have to run it long, okay, but you want to go ahead and run this console for a minute or two and make sure that it's not going to trip out, that it's not overheating. A good piece of advice that they give you in the instructions for these is to test for 5 volts. Now, but you didn't test for 5 volts. Yes, I know. However, I already know that I have 5 volts and no more than 5.45 volts. If you have more than 5.42 volts on VCC down here, you need to stop. Okay? Because you have a problem. Okay? And I don't know if it's a drinking problem or if you have an install problem, but you have a legit serious problem. And if you don't correct it, you are going to damage your console severely. Your Game Gear severely. So, what I'm saying is, follow the plan, test the console, make sure it's correct before you go getting all crazy. Right? We're going to plug this guy up. And here's where I stand. If I got screen and the thing works, I'm going to bed. If I don't have screen and the thing doesn't work, I'm going to bed. Either way this goes, I am tired and I am going to bed. It has been an extraordinarily long day. Be careful, by the way, when you are doing this, set something plastic up there, something non-static. I'm not even worried about audio right now, by the way. We could hook it up. I'm not worried about it. I just want to see, you know what, I am going to hook it up. I'm going to because we resoldered the wires on our speaker. We're going to see if that makes any difference whatsoever. Normally I wouldn't. Normally my test run, my test fire with these is just what I call dry run. Nothing connected, nothing hooked up, nothing operational, just power, just power, just power. I just want, you know, and a connector, because I just want to find out, does the stupid thing start up without catching fire and burning my house down? Will it start up? Will it damage anything? You know, the whole 9 yards. That's what my first concern is when we fire one of these guys up for the first time on one of these. So, let's see. What do we got? Well, I got no light. I got no power. I got nada. Oh, you know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you exactly what it is. I don't have any power on my jack because earlier I thought I was going to go to bed. I had every intention of going to bed, and then I didn't, and so I just unplugged that. Ta-da! See if we go all the way down. Yep, it's VGA mode. Cool. Let me try to swap this out with a different speaker. So there we go, guys. There we go, guys. Let me turn that off. That's the one? That's the one. There we go. Quick and easy, McWill install, functional GameCube. We've even got audio. So we are 110% operational. Going to tin up my soldering tip for now. Absorb all of that nasty smoke. Shut him off. That's not too quiet. I mean, resoldering that did help some. It's not terrible. Not as loud as I'd like it to be. We may switch out the OP amp on it. Screen's good though. I'm ready to rock and roll. Cool beans. Alright. So, I'll tell you what, tomorrow, after work, when I get home, we'll finish playing with this guy, get him all wrapped up on the install. This one I think I've already got a home in mind for it. I think I already do. So at any rate, we're going to leave this right where it sits, shut everything down, and I'll be back here in a little bit, well, tomorrow after work, and we'll finish this guy up. Alright guys, welcome back to the video. So, while you were gone, I went to bed, got a good night's sleep, and I bought new toys that just arrived. Pretty excited about these. These are nothing particularly fancy. Just a wide assortment of various tweezers, and I use my tweezers all the time. I use a wide assortment of tweezers constantly, and I've been a huge fan. I still am of this Cool. I don't know what brand it is. Tweezers, but I've got the auto close tweezers with the ceramic tips, and I'm a huge fan of these guys. However, the only problem with these are their use is sort of limited. They're a little bit bulkier and all the rest of it. These guys, on the other hand, even with their replaceable tips, and they've got, they being Faeda, whoever it is, that these have like a carbon tip, non-burning, whatever, ESD, and the whole 9 yards. So I thought I'd give these guys a try. So I'm going to get out the ones that I would use the most, and we're going to give these a try for the rest of this video and see how we like them. The only other pair that I need to find, not those, I'm sorry, I'm just making a pile over here, the ones that I'm not going to use that often. I need to find something. I love these little blunt tip ones. Those are a little too blunt. I think these are going to be the ones. Maybe these. Let's see. I think these are going to be the ones. These right here are going to be the ones we use. Yeah. So we've got the replaceable tips on them. It's not that I go through a lot of tweezers necessarily. I don't. The metal ones, the all metal ones, they bend and they break and they snap off. They're fine, except for they bend and they break and they snap off and all of those things. So you know, it's not that I'm breaking them, or which I am. They do break from normal wear and tear and all the other things. But the bigger problem that I've always got with them is, you know, they're never quite aligned right, or I'm worried about them getting too hot, or you know, stuff like that, or you know, I've snapped a tip off, or they don't line up right anymore, stuff like that. So I thought I'd try these and just kind of see, what I think and how I like them. Never mind. So, where are we? We have, at this point, repaired this console. We have soldered in our shiny new screen, or at least our board for our screen. We have checked to make sure that it works, and it does. We checked the audio circuit. We've replaced all the capacitors. This is now ready to go into a case, which is going to bring us to an interesting point in the video. Because I have several cases over there, and before we put this in the case, I'm going to replace this LED with my standard auto color changing LED, so it's time to go ahead and fire up the gear while we look for a case. And I believe the shell that this one came out of is right here. This cannot be the shell that this one came out of. It cannot be, but it's the one that we're gonna. No, see, this is silver inside, and this is not a silver inside, so that cannot be the same. Cannot be the same. Maybe it was this one. This one will work. I'm being a little picky here. For no particular reason, other than I just am. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This speaker that's on this one, the wires have ripped off of, fine, no problem, all good. What we're going to do is we're going to use this speaker, perhaps. We're probably going to reflow the wires on this one, even though we already did that one. I don't want to take these tabs off, is what that boils down to. I don't want to take the tabs off, and so I'm not going to. I'm just going to drop my boards back in and clean everything back up and cut our metal piece for it, and keep going. Keep meddling right along. So let's set our board out of the way while we fix the wiring on this guy. So that's actually was not terrible. Now you know what I can't find? My pocket knife. That's okay. I'll just get a different one. Just get a different one. No problem. No problems, only happy little solutions, right? That's what we do around here. No problems, just happy solutions. tin him up, and we're going to re-tin maybe we're going to re-tin this speaker terminal. And then we're going to replace the screen, because when I did mine, I had already done that before. So there was no need for me to redo that. Uh-oh. Too hot and moved it too soon. It's okay. There we go. Now, of course, we are taking a bit of a risk here, okay? And the risk that we are taking, oh, looks like we're going to get to use our brand new tweezers right now. Okay? The risk that we are taking is we know that that other speaker works-ish. And the reason I say that it works-ish, well, how about that? The reason that I say that we know that it works-ish is because we can hear sound coming out of it. Now, the speaker might be blown. And even after we went through the trouble of reflowing the wires, the speaker got a little bit louder, but it didn't get like a lot louder. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of speaker wire straightening out here. If you guys remember clearly, there was a clown that we bought these from. And I got a name for him that's not clown. That's not YouTube appropriate. I've got one of those names, and then I've got another name that is YouTube appropriate, and that's John the Jerk, right? That's what I always call him, John the Jerk. I don't know why I picked John. It just did, because I guess it meshes with jerk so well. But at any rate, John the Jerk has had a hold of this console, and if you remember earlier in the video when I pulled out the bag of spares that the guy had just shredded, that's what I mean by John the Jerk. Like, whoever did this to this console, what a shameful human being. What a shameful human being. This is one of the things, and I'm a big adamant of this, or a big proponent of this. I'm very adamant. If it's your console, right? Yours. And you're doing your own work on your own console, do whatever quality of job you want, okay? Use whatever tools you want, do your thing, whatever. But if you are going to sell this off, do a good job on it, man. It's just not, I'm not trying to be ugly. This is not rocket science. I mean, don't get me wrong. A McWill upgrade is not the easiest of the upgrades that I have ever done on anything. None of them ever are. I mean, they're not. It's not RGHing an Xbox, right? Okay. It's not. I mean, we're not. Sorry, I'm looking for my LED. Got to be in here somewhere. There they are. It's not RGH in an Xbox. It's not doing a BGA reball, right? Okay, it's not that. It's not that complicated. But in the grand scheme of what you can do at home with basic tools, this is pushing the limit. This is pushing the limit. I'm not saying you couldn't do this without a hot air rework station. You could. I'm just saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you couldn't do this without a temperature-controlled soldering iron. You could do it, but you shouldn't. Okay, so I always look at this. So interestingly enough, Sega being smart enough, they mark the anode, which is your long leg, on this. They marked it for you, and but I'm just so used to my habit, and the way that I go about these things is to visually triple, quadruple check that's what I do, right? I visual quadruple check everything to make sure that the component that I took out goes in the same way that it came out. Even though I don't have to, it's marked A for anode. I know which way it goes. I don't have to do that. I do it anyway. All right, so we're going to set this board aside for just a second. And I'm going to show you how you replace this glass screen. As soon as I find my glass screen. Here it is. So there's our new glass screen. Okay. Old one's obviously still in there. Now, this is fragile. It's from France. It's fragile. It's very fragile. Okay. You want to be gentle with it. And I talked about this in my other video, but now I'm going to show you how. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pre-made holes in this guy. Okay. You also have one where the LED goes. Avoid him like the plague. You don't want to poke anything in there. Start in a corner. Which one you pick is up to you. It makes no difference. And start pushing. And as you push, you'll see the screen start separating. Okay. Move to your other corner. Same process. And push. You're not trying to shove them all out in one shot. Okay. Move down here to the bottom corner. And push. You'll feel it when it breaks free of the sticky, gluey substance. Okay. And then you can go ahead from there and peel him right off. Okay. Now, if you do that the way I did, the way I just showed you, you'll get most of the glue, of the tacky glue, from the original screen. You will come away with most of it intact, which is what you want. Okay. So we can set him aside. Now, we still have a little bit to deal with here. We want to get as much of this stuff up and off as we can. Okay. It doesn't have to be 100% clean and perfect. But the more you get off, the smoother your new screen will set down flush on the board. You're always going to have some amount of residue. Always. There's nothing you can do about that. Well, when I say that, you could theoretically spend, hours here messing around with it, and just cleaning and scrubbing and wiping and all the things. You can do that, but it's not really needed. So this little thing right here that pulled up, this little piece that I pulled out, that was just the cover for one of the screw holes. That is not necessary. You don't need it. If it comes up, it comes up. It's not the end of the world. That's just where the plastic is thin right there. Not all of the ones. I've done some of these, like this one, where for the most part, everything came up really easily. And I've done some of these where nothing wanted to come up at all. 6 one, half dozen the other. Obviously, if you take your time and you push from all the corners like I just showed you, it'll all come up pretty simple. Okay? If you just try to push it out from one corner, none of it will come up properly, I assure you. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, and I've mentioned these guys before, light dims, silver edition. This company makes these little pre-made circle-y thingies. And all they are, and I'm just going to use a silver one because it's what I got, but they make them in all different colors. All they are is just stickers that tint, okay, that tint. So when we installed our new LED light, okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, they are, or any of the newer LEDs, they are substantially brighter. I just noticed I had a screw in here, and there's also some little pieces of metal in there I'm going to have to get out. they are substantially brighter than what you are used to. And they will absolutely ruin your day. Because they're so bright, it will ruin your gaming experience with this. Now, there is another little piece of metal in there, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to go about getting him out, because that is not a strong enough magnet, and I don't know where my other screwdriver is. It's right here. There are several pieces of metal in here. This has got to go. Man, I really don't want to do this. See, I didn't want to do this for that reason right there. Well, we pulled him out, so that's good enough. That's good enough. We pulled him out. I'm not going to fight with it too much. Okay, putting your new glass screen on is incredibly simple. It requires very little effort and very little thought process and the whole rest of it, right? So you don't have to be particularly great. This is not going to take anything special out of you to do. He is completely sealed. Okay. It's going to have a screen protector on the front of it. Okay. Try to peel him back. We're going to try not to get our fingerprints on it, but let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to get tired of fooling with this and fighting with it, and so I'm just going to go ahead and take it off now, because I'll deal with the fingerprints. All right. Notice I'm not using my new tweezers just yet, right? I don't know if anybody noticed that. So we're going to peel this off. And we're going to align this guy with our eyeballs. With our eyeballs to where he should drop right down. Now, if you miss it by just a bit, it's perfectly okay. And once we've got him, we're going to rub him down just like that, okay? Make sure he's got a nice seat, okay? If we get some fingerprints on the outside, we don't care. The inside, though, we do care about, so we're not going to get fingerprints on the inside. No matter what we do, we're going to not get fingerprints on the inside, okay? That is the prime objective right now, is to make sure no matter what we do not get fingerprints on the inside. or dust or debris or anything else. He must remain clean from this moment forward. We're going to steal that. We're going to steal the rest of these buttons. We're going to steal the rest of these buttons. Not going to steal the screws yet. We might steal him later. Don't know. Okay. So what we're going to do is flip him over. And we're going to install our screen. No, we're not. Because we have to clip this guy. Now we're going to install our screen. Now again, I don't recommend you do this the way I do it. I've done a lot of these. I can just about tell you 100% exactly where this screen is supposed to sit. I can do it nearly in one shot. But I'm not recommending you do the same thing. Matter of fact, I'm recommending you don't do the same thing. I'm recommending you take your time My screen protector has decided to become permanently affixed to the screen. I am recommending that you put your screen in and triple check it multiple times. Put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out, line it up, make sure it's right before you proceed. Again, as I've probably done, I don't know. I don't want to come up with some silly number. But as I've done probably 20, 30, 40, 50 of these things, I don't even know. I've lost count at this point. As I've done so many of them, I can pretty much hit it the first shot every time, because I know exactly where he should land, or pretty stinking close where he should land. I found my pocket knife. It was over there the whole time. I'm going to flip my hat around. I don't want to have it in your line of sight too much. Making sure, by the way, that you do this step and secure this screen is absolutely vital. If you don't secure this screen down, it will move. And if it moves, your screen will not be straight, it will be off center, and you will hate life. Okay? So it is vital, critical, vital, that you install this guy exactly correctly the first time. Okay? All right. Let's throw some buttons in. And then we can drop in, once we've got our buttons in place, we can drop our board in, screw him down. Before we do that, I'm going to set this out of the way for just a second. I'm going to give our board one last wipe down, and we've got to apply some stuff, some Kapton tape over to this side, right? We have to do that so that we don't short anything out. And because it helps hold our wire down, and is a cleaner, prettier install, right? And that's what we're shooting for. Cleaner, prettier install. Okay. There we go. Now we can drop our board in. No, we can't. Our sticky plastic got attached to it. Now remember what I always say. Please remember what I always say. If this thing does not sit down all on its own, if you have to force, push, wedge, pry, kick, shove, or beat this thing, if it doesn't sit all down all on its own, something's wrong. Stop. And look and find out what your problem is. Okay? Stop. Find out what your problem is. Find out what's holding you up. Okay? And fix that before you break something. Once you've broken it, it's too late. There's no going back. It's broke. And I'll give you one more quick little pro tip. This one's free. I won't charge you for this one at all. One other little pro tip is to make sure you spin your brightness wheel and your audio wheel when you drop them in the board, okay? Make sure you give them a spin. Make sure that they are free in their movement, okay? Because if they're not, then something's binding up, and if something's binding up, you're going to have a bad day. Something's not right. You're going to break it. Okay. Now we can plug up our LCD screen. Flip him closed. And we're pretty much done with this side. So we can set him aside for now. And we can install our audio board. And I think we're done with our soldering iron, so I'm probably going to turn him off. Okay. Let me tin this soldering iron up real quick so I can shut him down because I'm not going to be using him. And then we can install our power board, which John the Jerk has very politely not removed properly. He's very politely not removed it properly. And so our power board doesn't want to sit down in there correctly, but that's okay. Not going to stop us from doing what we're supposed to do anyway. Okay. Let me grab my bag of Sega screws. This is my bag of Xbox screws. If you don't have, well, you probably wouldn't. But if you get into doing a bunch of these, you're gonna have screws that you're not gonna reinstall. That happens because the four around the main screen you're not gonna reinstall. Don't throw those away. Please don't throw those away. You will need them one day, like I need them right now. Oh no, you know what we're missing? I can see it already. We're missing our little power switch, which guess what that means? Now we gotta go find one. I don't even know where he would be. Don't even know where to tell you to start looking because I have no idea where John the Jerk would have put it. I do know he did not put it with this power board, so that's always a plus. Thanks, John. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for making life difficult. Now we just have to go and find one. Is there one in here? Not that I see. Ah, there is one in our spare parts bag. Thanks, John. Thanks, John, you jerk. We're also going to need a metal shield. John the Jerk was kind enough to include the metal shields. He was kind enough to include the metal shields this time. We appreciate that, John, you jerk. Well, I tell you what, sometimes you just have the old fumble fingers, don't you? You know what? I'm going to try to take this off because it really should come off. There we go. Now we can get our component down in here properly. Now we can do it without tearing things up. Now we can make sure it's installed correctly. Okay, so we've got to put our little back cover piece on. Which again requires cutting these off, which, as I have said many times, I'm not very good at. I've always wondered if you could just fold these over. I've always wondered if you could just fold them over. Is there any reason why? Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. Some people are just better than me. They're just better at this than I am. I've made no bones about it. I am not good at removing this little piece of metal. Perhaps it's the tool. I keep saying I'm going to get some aircraft shears. That's probably the proper tool to do this with. I've got, Lord knows how many pairs of them floating around all over the place, but I don't have any with me, or I would be using them. I'm going to kind of clean up these edges and fold them down a little bit so that nobody cuts themselves later. And we'll try to make it look a little bit more professional, like we knew what we were doing. That's the trick, isn't it? Make it look like you know what you're doing even when you don't. That's quite the trick. I don't even really honestly know how vitally important all this is the cartridge port cover, and I don't even really honestly know how vitally important this is. I know that it's in there from the factory, so I'm guessing it's got to be important. See what I'm going to do. I'm only going to do this though because I'm on camera. No, I'm doing this just because I can. I'm going to take me a little sticker, one more little sticker. Put them over that screw hole, so see, now everybody knows, don't put a screw in there. See? It's the little details like that people don't think about, right? Okay, we can set him aside for now. We can flip this guy back over. We've got 2 more screws to put in on him, and they are going to be our cartridge connector, cartridge port screws. That is not a cartridge port screw. I don't care what it says, because he's not long enough. He is not long enough. She is not long enough. Whatever it is not long enough. But that's okay. Because in my drawer of many, many, many things, what I just happen to have, because I don't have the screws for this, John the Jerk, are screws. This is an assortment of various lengths of screws. That one will get it. So if anybody wanted to know, they're M3 by 12. If you wanted to know, you might get away with an M3 by 14, but I don't have them. I've got 16 as my next step up, and I don't want to risk it. The 16 seems. Tell you what we can do. Let me see a 16. Let me put a 16 in my hand. Yeah, 16 is going to be way too long. Well, maybe. You know what? Let's try a 16 over here. Let's just try one. We won't run them in hard, but I'm curious enough I want to find out for sure. Yeah. Nope. Nope. 16's too long. So it's either going to have to be a 14 or it's going to have to be this 12. And 12 seems about perfect, so that's what we're going to put in. And we'll put our 16 back in here. Okay, now it's time to button this guy up. So let's button him up. Let's wrap this up, finish him up, get this guy all done. Now before I go completely finishing this, as I always say, and is especially important this time around, is before we close this up, we are going to do a test run on this console. We are going to plug up power to him and make 110% sure that our game comes on, that we have sound, and all of those things, because, especially with this one, because we repaired the audio or the speaker, but then we decided not to use that speaker. We decided to use a different speaker. So before we go closing him up, we're going to double check it. Just double check it. Just a good practice to be in. Won't hurt a thing. Doesn't take us but just a second. Let's see here. Okay, our audio sounds great. Screen is on point. Cool. Now we can actually button him up. We can pull this cartridge out. And set him back down here where he belongs. Being careful with our wires. Extra careful with our wires. One speaker wire is going to be a little bit ornery. Okay. not even the right screw. That screw that I just put in, you would never believe what it's for. Not even for a Sega. Not even for a Sega. Now I can't get the stupid thing out. It's for an Xbox. I put an Xbox screw in. John the Jerk strikes again, huh? Got us again. Okay, John the Jerk. Let's see what we've got in your little bag of spares. Do we have screws in here? No screws in here. Got some screws in here. Let me get my long screwdriver bit. Now, before I go any further, I want to take a look. That does not look like an M3 screw to me. That's going to be an M2 screw, because I'm going to be a couple of screws short. Maybe I might be a couple of screws short. No screws in there. No screws there. No screws there. No screws there. Those are the wrong type of screws. Those are too big. That is the wrong kind. Just wait for it. Never out of screws. Never, ever, 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 ever out of screws. We've always got enough. If anybody wanted to know, these are metric 2.3 by 10s. If you ever wanted to know, they're metric 2.3 by 10s. Now, we need back covers, which John the Jerk, unsurprisingly, did not leave with us. At least if he did, I don't know. Got him. I don't have them, I have some. That's going to have to be good enough for now. We also need this top cover, which I don't have. But before we get all the way there, to saying we have to have it, let me double check because I didn't tighten this screw down earlier. There we go. That's so much better. And again, I say this all the time, guys. If you have to put a lot of pressure or force on this, stop. You've done something wrong. Let's put our sonic game in. Let's kill some of these lights. And let's see what we got. And this does put us in VGA mode. And pulls us right back out. RGB LED. CRT mode, widescreen mode, big screen mode, big screen, shrunk down tiny mode, back to regular mode. Cool. Let's see. Scan lines, wide, huge, zoomed in scan lines, tiny screen, and back to regular. Cool. Well, guys, there you go. That is the proper way to do a McWill screen in a hurry. I apologize for this video not taking super long. I really do. Normally, I try to take a little bit more time on them, but I wanted to show you. You know, listen, when you've done a bunch of these, you get pretty good at it. There's not really a lot to do, but I wanted to show a quick install of one of another one. And assemble one out of parts. You know, listen, this console came to me in parts, literally in pieces and parts, and we've resurrected it. We brought it back from the dead. It was not working. It was battery damage. It had battery acid all over it, and now we fixed all of that stuff. We put a brand new screen on it, brand new McWill screen, recapped the whole inside of it, glass lens on it, changed our LED out. And now it plays games just like it always should. I appreciate you guys coming by and spending time with me. I hope you like this video. Sorry. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I post more videos like this. That's it. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.